Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us here today for the Series X podcast number one, the pilot, the test run. Joining me today is my brother Jordan.
What's up, guys?
And, the podcast is going to be pretty much exactly what the title is, about the Xbox and the Series X, and hopefully, moving forward, Xbox games, and eventually we'll throw some news in here. But today, the video is going to be pretty much just about the Xbox Series X, what we expect from it, price, possible release date. We're also going to talk about the original launch of the Xbox One and hopefully what they can learn or what they have learned from that and how they're going to apply that to the Series X's launch itself. I guess moving on to the first topic at hand is the price. So what are you willing to pay for as a price for a brand new system that you don't necessarily need to buy because all the games for the next 2 years that are Xbox exclusive are going to be on the Xbox One as well?
Well, I mean, considering that the One X costed $500 and the Series X is going to be more powerful than...
Four times more powerful?
Yeah. I'd probably say 500.
That's what I'm thinking too. And, I mean, they said that it's going to be priced as a premium product. But the only problem is, I mean, if the PS5 comes out and undercuts them like they did again with the the PS4 and the Xbox One, I mean, it's going to add to the problems with it selling.
Right.
So 500 is what I'm expecting. I think maybe 450 would be a nice sweet spot.
Yeah.
But you got to think again, a lot of times too with the consoles when they come out, like when the PS4 and the Xbox One came out, the tech that was in it was already like 3 to 4 years old. So, it like wasn't on par with like what you would buy for like a modern gaming computer at the time.
Yeah.
This is supposedly from the leaks and stuff that's on with people having like the tech breakdowns with Digital Foundry. Those are, I mean, they're putting in new things. Like this isn't stuff from 2015 that's going to be in the gaming box. It's going to be stuff from now, supposedly.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess we'll find out once the PS5 is shown off and how much that's going to be. I'm thinking because they do those Xbox, the Inside Xbox episodes, maybe before E3 they'll release a price talking about it. Just briefly. Those usually happen every 3 months, so I would say probably around March, whenever they have that, like their spring Inside Xbox. I think last year they had it in February, and that was when they announced the MCC was coming to PC. But, I mean, I don't know. 500 is the most. 450 I think would be good. It can't be more than that, because otherwise you could just buy a PC. Yeah, buy a PC and just play all their games that are on PC.
Yeah.
Constantly
upgrade it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean that's the PC master race, and a lot of even in the comment sections, people are like, "Why doesn't anyone already just play games on a gaming PC? Like, why are people still buying video game consoles?" And I mean, the system itself looks like a computer tower.
Yeah, it does.
Like that was the first thing I saw. It's not really a box anymore. There was a funny meme going around calling it the Xbox fridge.
I like that. Xbox rectangular prism. But yeah, I mean 450 would be a sweet spot for me too. I just don't see that being realistic at all. I feel like for me the most realistic number is 500.
I would say maybe even 550.
That too.
Like, I mean it's all obviously speculation right now, but the one thing that I've even been thinking about, like depending on how much it is, if it's more than 500, I'm certainly probably not going to be buying it on launch. Especially since, again, and this is talked about in a previous video, all the launch games are going to be on the Xbox One. And like we talked about earlier, I've had the same TV since 2014. 1080p TV at 60 hertz. I think the refresh rate on it might be a little slow. But aside from that, like, the TV works fine. Getting a Series X, like I'm sure it's going to look great on a 1080p TV, but to take full advantage of it, you're going to want a 4K. I mean, I think there were rumors too that the system eventually will be possible doing 8K. Like 8K, as far as my understanding goes, doesn't even exist yet.
It does, but it's like very rare. It's like when 4K first came out, and it was like only like one Best Buy has it in like the whole state.
But I guess the next thing too would be the release date. So, looking at the past, 360 was released on November 22nd. The Xbox One was released on November 22nd. Are they going to hit another November 22nd release date again? I mean, keeping with tradition.
Yeah, maybe.
I think what it's really going to depend on is the PS4 released the week before the Xbox One. It was like on the 16th or the 17th. And then the following, that was on a Friday, and then the following Tuesday was the Xbox One. So I'm sure they'll both release around the same time, but it's definitely. Do you think they would go for an earlier release, like in October or September, maybe?
No, they like, said holiday 2020, so I think they'll go around November.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But I mean, then again, the holiday season, starts early. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they'll keep it around November. All I know is as long as it's not ridiculously priced, I'll be getting it opening night.
Right. Well, if that's the case, then I mean, depending on the price, could either pick it up that night or maybe the following day. But if I'm not and you are, I'll definitely be with you to to go pick it up, and we'll take a look,
unbox it, and everything.
The one thing, I mean, this is the first Xbox since the original Xbox in 2001 that's going to release with Halo, which is, I guess it's kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But too, like, the one thing that I've wondered when it comes to that is, it was an article, I don't know if I'll be able to find it to show it on screen or put it in the links, but apparently, like, the beta or the test kits for Xbox Series X are already out to, like, to testers that are heavily under an NDA, and that some of the games that you're playing, like Destiny or Halo or Call of Duty, you might already be playing with people playing on that system, because it's going to be backwards compatible, so you're going to be able to play those games. But the one thing too, and this is something I've been thinking about, is they're supposed to flight test Halo Infinite with the Halo Insider program, and I'm wondering how are they going to flight test that on the Series X unless they put those out, with people that are out in like a public area, like a public area of the internet, like a user like me or you. Are they testing it there? Do you think both versions, like, is the Xbox One going to be able to talk to the Series X version?
I don't see why they wouldn't. It could probably all be on. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't answer that.
Well, the thing is, too, if you think about it, okay, so let's say someone's playing on the Series X. They're on their 4K TV. They're playing, and then some Joe Blow is playing on the original Xbox console, that one with the giant Ghostbuster brick, and they're playing on just a 1080p TV. You're going to have an advantage on the Series X with probably smoother frame rate, sharper picture. You're probably going to be able to see things like the draw distances, from farther out. Yeah. And then they're playing against the dude who's just on the Xbox One from 2013. Like, that's going to create a severe disadvantage to that other guy.
It's been that long.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was thinking about it. It just seems like yesterday the Xbox One and PS4 came out, and I'm always sad at the end of console generations because, you just put so much of your time and effort into a game or a system, and and then it's time to move on, which is kind of cool, though, that at launch these are going to be backwards compatible.
I feel like anything less than that would be unacceptable to me.
At this point, it really is. And that was the main thing that moved me back to Xbox, was the backwards compatible. I remember sitting on my couch at E3 in 2015 after I had traded in my Xbox One because the Master Chief Collection didn't work.
Yeah.
And that was why I got it. So that it was broken, it didn't work. They weren't saying anything about fixing it. So at that point it was like, why do I have this thing? I could use it for credit, get cash, go buy games for the PS4 or buy games for my Xbox 360 because I was at the time still playing that pretty heavily.
Yeah.
And I think Halo 3, Halo Reach, those games were still pretty active. And then I traded it in. I think
I remember this.
The holiday before that E3. So it was it was late 2014, early 2015. I traded it in. I got a bigger hard drive for my Xbox 360, and I got like the Xbox gift cards, and I bought a bunch of downloadable games and then PS4 games. And then in June, I sat on my couch and watched them announce the backwards compatibility, and my jaw just hit the bottom of my couch. And I was just like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Like, what? Really? And yeah. And that was basically what brought me back to Xbox was, well, I still have all these games, all the PS3 games that we have that aren't being kind of actively played on the PS3 or in a drawer put away. And the games most of those games were Assassin's Creed for Alex, and they remastered all those games for the PS4 anyway. So now, the only thing that's left is my collection. I got like 5 games for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just the backwards compatibility it's a big deal. It really is.
It is, and like I said earlier, if they didn't offer it, I probably would boycott it for a little bit at least.
Yeah.
Just because I've spent a lot of money on games on the Xbox One, and there's I couldn't imagine going on to another console and not being able to play those same games and stuff.
Well, the funny thing is I did this it was roughly about a month ago. I went through my games library on my Xbox, and this is counting the 360 games. And if you count all of those 360 games, and this is going back from probably to at least 2009, 2008, when the games first started to become downloadable on this system. If you count from 2009, and a lot of the games I bought were on sale. They weren't at full price. But if you bought them at full price, the games that are able to be installed on the Xbox One right now, counting both One and 360 games, if you bought them brand new at $59.99, the grand total for all the games that I own was $14,156. $14,156.
Wow.
For $14,106. But I mean, spread that across 11 years.
Right.
That's not. It's a lot of money to think about. Like, wow, I could use $14,000 for a lot right now.
It still is when you. I mean, that's like almost. That's a lot of money a year though too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely do have a problem buying games, but.
I mean, people have problems doing everything.
Right.
At least your problem is buying games and not
entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could be spending my money on a lot of worse things.
Right.
But that's not the point. But anyway, the simple fact, and I say this a lot in my videos, that's my phrase, the simple fact is that taking all that money's, and that's not the actual amount that I spent. That's what it would have been had I bought them at full price.
Yeah.
Not being able to take all that money and all those games and move it into the next, like, basically game unit, the game box, would just, it would just
heartbreaking.
It would not only would it be heartbreaking, I mean, it would just be like, what do you it would kind of invalidate all those purchases. Like, I still have my Xbox One, but if that ever broke, and there's going to be a point at some time when, systems break down, things quit working, parts go bad, and that you can replace that with whatever the next Xbox console is, or eventually probably a PC. I imagine eventually all that's going to be available on PC. It's a big deal, and it's certainly a big move. But the next thing that, just real quick, I want to hit on too is the storage size in it.
Okay.
The Xbox One that I have is the original S version, which they had like a special edition, which as far as my understanding goes, they haven't done this since the launch of the S. Mine has 2 terabytes worth of data space. Right now I have 20 Xbox One games and 1 360 game installed, and I'm at like 75% of the hard drive being used.
Okay.
The new system has to at least have like 5 terabytes worth of space.
In the system built in?
Yeah, like the internal hard drive or the SSD or whatever it is that they're using. for storage for games has to be at least 5 terabytes.
Right, because everything's going to be...
Just imagine. I mean, you have the One X. Mm-hmm. If you install a game that has the 4K add-ons to it, that goes way over 100 gigabytes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, especially if they want to introduce 8K, like, how big are those file sizes going to be? And I know that the parts that they're putting into it, the way that, I guess, the storage and the way that it reads memory is different than the Xbox One is now. So that they're going to be able to... It's a funny... I'm not 100% sure how it works, but it's a way that data is stored and read. And part of the reason why those games have such big file sizes for the 4K is because of the way the hardware is designed. So the way that they have things being moved around now with like the solid state drive inside it and the other parts that I really don't know that well or to speak on, maybe the games might actually be able to be smaller, but if that's not the case, if things kind of continue on the way they are, they gotta have a big hard drive in it. They have to.
Yeah.
There's no way that especially if games are going to be installed. With the 360, you originally could use it where you could either play it off the disc or choose to install it. And some games ran better than others. And like when Halo 3 first was launched, Bungie put out a thing that was like, don't install this to your hard drive. It's designed to be played from the disc. You'll have like performance problems and everything. So don't do that. They eventually ended up, I think, coming out with a patch to change it. And I think you can even download Halo 3 now to an Xbox 360, like off their store. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, obviously that's changed now, but yeah, they got to have big hard drive space. And we don't even know what the back of the system looks like yet.
No, we don't.
There was, I guess at the CES conference, which is like a tech show, if you don't know, they had a 3D image where they spun it around with the Xbox Series X, and it showed like power cord and 2 HDMI ports and a USB and something else. And I guess it ended up coming up later that was actually just a faked image. Like they didn't know what to put on the back, so they just put that. Okay. So we don't even know what that looks like. If it has an internal power supply or if it's going to have like another brick.
I hope it doesn't have a brick.
I know. I do too. That brick is terrible. We don't know if it's going to have 2 HDMIs or what. I imagine it'll have at least, I mean, obviously we know it'll have one.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see what the backside looks like.
Me too.
Yeah. Get a good shot of that backside.
Right, exactly. All right, let me ask you a question real quick. Is Elder Scrolls 6 releasing in this generation of consoles?
Oof. No, probably not.
Really?
Probably not. Well, they're doing Starfield.
Let me ask you this. Now, I know that they've shown teasers for Starfield.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed a teaser for the Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
What if Bethesda came out, like, went against everything they said, shocked the world, and said Starfield was just the code name for the Elder Scrolls 6?
For Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. But I don't know. From what they've said, that they're doing their Starfield game and then Elder Scrolls. Mm-hmm. I mean, it would certainly definitely be a twist.
Yeah.
But at this point, I don't know if I trust them to do absolutely anything.
Right.
I'm worried about Doom Eternal, and that's not a game they're actively making. It's just one that they publish. But in the original Doom from 2016, the multiplayer, it was like a classic Call of Duty style where you would unlock colors and patterns and skins for your gun and emotes and different armors. Dude, I'm just so worried that they told id Software, like, no, you have to make like purchase packs.
Yeah.
We're selling cosmetic packs. We're gonna have a Fortnite style store, like every other game in the entire world does right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know. Starfield is probably only going to be a next gen game. Like, I wouldn't see them putting it on the Xbox One or the PS4.
No.
I mean, it'll definitely be on PC. Hopefully, Steam, and I'm sure it'll be on their terrible store. But yeah, I don't know. That'd be a twist for sure. But yeah, I don't see them doing the next Elder Scrolls. Probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it came out till 2025. And honestly, I don't think they could make a game that's better than Skyrim.
Me either.
I think Skyrim was where they hit their peak, and I mean, unless they just make a prettier version of Skyrim with better animations and just more content in it that you don't have to pay for extra, then, I mean, I don't see how they're going to do any better.
One more quick question, not to get off topic.
No, go ahead.
Just a yes or no. You don't even have to get into it if you don't want to.
Okay.
Are they going to re-release Skyrim for Series X?
I hope so.
I do too. I'd pay for it.
I know. I'm a huge part of the problem where people are like, stop re-releasing it and just make something new. Yeah. But you know what? Honestly, I would buy it on almost anything as long as it ran well. Like even like that E3 joke when it was in the fridge.
I would buy a Samsung fridge just to play Skyrim on my fridge.
Oh man. I mean, it's going to be backwards compatible, so you could probably just download it and play it on there, and with the 4K patches and everything.
Yeah.
What else about the console? Let's talk about, for a little, just a few minutes here, the Xbox One's launch. I'm not too familiar with it. When the Xbox One launched, I bought a PS4 instead, just because their like marketing and their stance on the system was sports, Call of Duty. Like literally their reveal trailer, I can't remember, I think it was either on Spike or MTV. It was like 30 minutes long. And that's all that at the time, I forget what was his name. Whoever the guy that was in charge of Xbox at the time. That's all it was Call of Duty, sports. There are supercuts online. I mean, if you guys look on YouTube, you can see it. It's literally just 5 minutes of sports and Call of Duty. Yeah. And while I'm sure a lot of the audience for Xbox enjoys sports and Call of Duty, the majority, I really don't. That's just not the right place to reveal that.
No.
So the fact that they revealed the new one, the Series X, the Game Awards, where gamers watch the Game Awards.
Right.
That was a pretty good move. But yeah, tell me about your first day, your first 5 hours with the Xbox One in 2013. Tell me how that went.
All right, so it was a Christmas Day present. I didn't think I was getting it. It was the last gift. All right, so I opened this thing up and I almost cried how happy I was.
How old were you?
It came out in 2013.
Yeah.
I was either 13 or 14.
Okay, I was going to say you're probably at least 14.
Yeah, I was 14. So, I was 14, and I unboxed it, ran it upstairs to my room, hooked it up, and I'm like, I have to download my games? There's, like, system updates, there's game updates, there's this, that, and the other. And a lot of this had to do with how bad our internet was at the time.
Yeah, our parents didn't believe in upgrading their Facebook machine, their Facebook internet.
Right, yeah. So we were probably less than a megabyte per second.
No, I think it was like 9 to 10 at the time.
It had to have been about 5 or something. But basically, my games wouldn't update, the system wouldn't update, so I actually couldn't even update my games.
Right, but the reason why they had that update was because prior to that, the way that the system was supposed to work was it was an always online console. Yeah. It required you to log in at least once a day to Xbox Live in order to even play your games. Mm-hmm. Games were going to be locked to your account, so you couldn't buy used games. You couldn't let someone borrow a game. I mean, they were going full out like evil Terminator, like Skynet mode where it was you buy this and it's basically it was their way to try to prevent, because at the time in 2013 that was the big deal, like used games they're killing the industry, people borrowing games, it's this is terrible, we're not making money, someone will buy a game and they live with friends and they'll let them borrow it, and instead of those 5 people all buying this game, only one person's buying it, So at the time that was their solution, was okay, we'll just lock it to your account. No used games, no borrowing games. That's just kind of how it was. And within 2 weeks, they ended up changing their tune where it was okay. Well, yeah, we'll reverse this, and you're gonna have to download a day one pass. Essentially, what it did was it turned the Xbox One like into 360 functionality to be able to be played offline. And the one thing still to this day that irritates me is you can't earn achievements in games without being connected to Xbox Live.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've been disconnected before in the past from either not paying an internet bill or from moving and playing new games that I buy at with a disc at the store because obviously couldn't get into Live to download any. And yeah, doing it, no achievements. And then as soon as you would sign in, they would all pop at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That still bothers me, which they they need to change.
But so basically, I ended up taking the Xbox to a friend's house who had good internet, and long story short, it still took about 3 to 4 hours before everything was downloaded and updated, and that was my first experience with my old original Xbox
The old
One.
Xbox, yeah. I remember just not on the topic, but I remember that the internet was so bad that I couldn't log into Netflix on my 360 that I had to use my PS3 to watch Netflix.
Even it wouldn't work for me on my Xbox. I mean, nothing. It wouldn't work at all. I would watch an hour and a half movie and it would take me 4 hours to get through it.
Jeez. But yeah, too, the dashboard on the original launch was terrible. It was all tile-based at the time. They were trying to have like a Unity look with Windows.
Yeah.
I think it was Windows 8 at the time, which Windows 8 was so bad. But they had this whole tile set, and you couldn't check download progress for games, and you couldn't check like your storage for how much storage that you had left. I mean, it was just the user interface and everything was really bad. The functionality wasn't there either. Like, as a console, the 360 could do more than the Xbox One at the time when it launched. Mm-hmm. And even the PS4 was like that when it came to the PS3. Like I mentioned earlier, you couldn't plug in a USB stick and just watch a movie off a USB stick. They didn't recognize it. It would just show up as an unrecognized device. Like, they can't afford with the Series X to have it. Everything that the Xbox One can do now, the Series X has to be able to do when it comes out. But yeah, everything that the Xbox One does now, the Series X has to do it at launch. It has to. And I mean, I've mentioned this before. I don't know if I've said it in previous videos or not. The Series X is a bad name.
It is?
It is, because they already have an Xbox X console.
Yes. But I read somewhere, and I think it's official, that somebody from Xbox said that the actual console is just going to be called the Xbox, and they're going to be releasing different tiers of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's where the series comes from, which really bothers me and scares me, because I get that they did it with the Xbox One, where they released the original Xbox One. Mm-hmm. It was the power brick, and it was less powerful. Then they released the One S and then the One X. Mm-hmm. I've owned every single Xbox One that's came out. I own the black Xbox One. I got the white Xbox One that came with Quantum Break. Mm-hmm. I got the One S, and now I have the One X. I'm not doing that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just that's what scares me about this next generation, is how many different iterations they're going to make.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, the S came out, 2 years after the original? It came out in, 2015? Or 2016? I think it was a 2016 game, or console.
Yeah, it was.
So, I mean, that was 3 years after. And I don't know, with how expensive the next console's probably going to be, and with just, I don't see them redesigning it as quickly as the newer one. Especially if it's going to be able to do 8K. I feel like they're trying to future-proof it already before it comes out. Because they obviously didn't think about that or do that with the original ones. Otherwise, the original ones would have been able to handle 4K instead of them needing to make an upgraded version that's the 4K version. So, I don't know. I don't know if they would bother doing that, or, how exactly that would work out, but yeah, no, I'm there with you. And the thing that we talked about earlier too, I don't know if it was on the podcast or not. Depending on the price of the One X, the Series X, I'm already doing it. I may purchase a One X, because those have dropped down now. I've seen them as as under $400. And like I said earlier, my TV's 1080p. I can't justify spending $400 or $500 and getting a 4K TV and like a new Xbox too. Mm-hmm. So either way, I would say for at least another 5 years, or unless something happens and the TV explodes, I'm locked into this TV for probably another 5 years at least. Okay. So yeah, and with the games being or not even backwards compatible, being made for the Xbox One too for at least another 2 years, then why would I purchase the next thing? And the channel's mostly Halo focused. We talk some other news on here, and hopefully with this Xbox podcast, but like, it's not like I'm dependent and I really need it. The only thing that I would say that would probably, and I'm really interested to see how this works out, is they have a capture button now on the controller. Because right now the way that you capture footage or screenshots or whatever for the Xbox One is kind of cumbersome. You have to tap the Xbox button and then you hit either X or Y to do a video or a screenshot or to record. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I've gotten used to it now. I do it without even thinking, but just having it there, being able to push the button to record or hold it to take a screenshot or whatever, however they're going to have it work. And the thing that I'm hoping this next system does too is stream straight to YouTube. Like they had for a little while back when they were going back and forth with PlayStation with the video editor. Like, oh, whose video editor in the console is better? You know, PS4 or Xbox Ones. They had it so that you could upload video. You could make them in the editor and then upload from the editor straight to YouTube. And they took that feature away. I remember at one point I tweeted at Xbox, and this was years ago, like, why is it so hard? Why can't you guys just have like a stream straight to YouTube? And they actually tweeted back at me like, oh, you know, we can stream to Twitch, and I think there was something else at the time, ULive or whatever it was. And it's just like, just have it stream straight to YouTube. It'll just be easier that way. I can get rid of my capture box altogether at that point and not have to worry about the wires or the mess. But I mean, yeah, thinking about it, I mean, I was actually kind of relieved, like, oh, good, you know, I'll get more use out of my Xbox, but maybe I'll get a Series X, or maybe I'll get the Xbox One X, or maybe people won't know the difference when they go into the store to buy one. I mean,
maybe
that was the big thing with the Wii and the Wii U. A lot of people misunderstood and thought that the tablet was the Wii U and that it was just an addition to the Wii. And, you know, people are going to walk in. I guarantee you, I mentioned this in the previous video. I talked to you guys on the channel about it. The average consumer, when they walk into a Best Buy or a GameStop, if they're still around, or Walmart, when they go into those stores, they're not, you know, a mom just going in, oh, could I get the Xbox X?
Yeah.
An Walmart employee is going to walk out with a 1X. Mm-hmm. Lady's going to be like, oh, I thought it was going to cost more. She's going to buy it and take it home to her kid, and her kid's going to be like, Mom, we have one of these. Yeah, or, Mom, you know, whatever, this isn't what I wanted. This isn't... Start
crying on Christmas morning.
Right. Like, the average parent and the average just worker that just is working retail that hates their life, you know.
They're not going to know.
Or they're not going to care.
That too.
But yeah, the name, not the best name. Not the best name.
If it's, like I said earlier, I didn't say it, but I'm going to say it now. If it's $500 or $550, I'll be getting it on opening night. I'll pre-order it and I'll buy it. But if it's like $600-$700, zero chance.
I mean, $7 would be probably way too much. They can't charge that much. I'm thinking between $5 and $550 is going to be where it hits. And I don't know. There's supposedly rumors that there's going to be a PlayStation reveal for the PS5 in February, like there was back in 2013 when they revealed the PS4 back then. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I see them doing their Inside Xbox late February, maybe early March, and hopefully they'll talk about it there, maybe release a price point and a release date there.
Yeah.
That way they can actually show stuff at E3. Yeah, I think it's all going to depend on what the PS5's price is. If they can come out at 450, Xbox would probably be around probably the same price.
Yeah. Does it kind of bother you that they're not really interested in VR that much?
No, VR is really cool. We got the PSVR here, and I use it maybe once or twice a month. I'll play it like a whole lot for 3 or 4 days in a row, and then I won't touch it for a month.
Yeah.
It makes me so I'll get headaches, but I think the headaches are mostly from this headset being strapped to your head so tight, so that no light gets in and that it's on your head. But I mean, I like the VR, but no, I mean it's not. That doesn't really seem like their arena. Like I don't.
It bothers me.
Does it?
Yeah, because I mean I feel like maybe not in a way right now, and maybe not even in the next 10 years. Well, I mean 10 years is a long time. The foreseeable future, VR is not what people are going to expect it to be, but eventually that's going to be the standard.
Eventually. I mean, there's a lot of fads that come and go when it comes to gaming. You had the whole motion controls with the Wii, and then both PlayStation and Xbox copied that. Xbox with the Kinect, PlayStation with the PlayStation Move. And, I mean, the Kinect, eventually people were just like, we don't want Kinect anymore. Like, that was the reason why the system was an extra $100. It was because of the Kinect camera. And the second they released the S model, they dropped the Kinect port on the back.
Yeah,
and they quit, and they quit making it altogether. So I mean, people spoke pretty loudly, and I mean, even when it comes to Nintendo and Switch, like Nintendo's games, some of them for the Switch have motion controls, but generally it's a standard thing that it's just a regular, or you can just use a regular controller. That's part of the reason. And again, off to a side and a tangent, I hated Pokemon Let's Go. I wanted to like it. But the fact that you had to use just the one Joy-Con and it had like the motion things with throwing the ball, like it was a better Pokemon game in handheld mode, but that completely negated the fact that it's the first Pokemon game you can play on a huge TV, right? I mean, VR is really cool. Again, it's like playing Skyrim in VR is awesome. I got Beat Saber. I actually wanted you to see if you wanted to try it later, and I mean it's really really cool, but I don't want to play every single game like that. Like, I'll sit down in the computer chair with a controller when I play Skyrim in VR because I don't want to be standing with the wands moving around. Yeah. You have that option, and at times it's like, okay, yeah, it's cool to do that. But most of the time, man, I just, you just want to plop down and play a game. And I don't know, that once it becomes more mainstream and like streamlined where the headsets aren't huge, they don't hurt your face.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you is, what if they came out with a way, like the Oculus Quest, no wires, it's super lightweight, you know what I mean, slim, it's not big, chunky, and I like the PSVR, I have one myself too. That's pretty much the only reason I have a PlayStation, that and Spider-Man, but a lightweight, super small, you know what I mean? Almost like, just like, who's the X-Men? The glasses. Cyclops.
Yeah.
Like that kind of deal. You know what I mean?
I mean, eventually, yeah, but I think it'll kind of be like the new TV. Yeah. But I think that it'll be used more for different things like visiting people that you haven't seen for a while, where they'll have like how you have like a webcam set up or a camera. They'll just have a 360 camera you could just set there, and then you'll put the headset on or whatever. I mean, Facebook already kind of does this, where they have a virtual couch where you can put on the headset. I think they bought Oculus.
Yeah. Where
you put on the Oculus headset and you sit on a couch, and the representations of the people that you're there with are kind of cartoony, but you're there like as if like we were recording a podcast, or sitting on the couch chilling out. Or the big thing I think that they'll do eventually is like sporting events, where you can't go to the Super Bowl, but you want to pay like $180 VR ticket for your headset, where you're literally right there on the field, like at the sidelines.
I would pay for that.
And you could kind of move up and down. I mean, I know tons of people would. And then, of course, the one thing that drives every technology, and I'll keep it very vague, but a lot of entertainment possibilities that adults like to enjoy, I'm sure, will make the VR really popular too.
Yeah, which it already does.
I wouldn't know.
I mean, just from news and stuff. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not going into like actual research, like, ooh, you know what I mean? But I mean,
But yeah, I guess just to round this out here, and since we're getting to the end, we'll talk just real quick. We'll talk about what we've been playing. So, what have you been playing? Anything?
I've been playing Pokemon. Well, are we just talking Xbox?
Just anything.
All
Playing
right.
anything.
I've been playing Pokemon Sword.
Mm-hmm.
I got that for Christmas. Almost, I'm like 75% done, I think.
I had a killer strategy for you for that too, by the way.
All right. I'm playing the new Need for Speed because I like car games now. Now that I'm kind of into cars because I can't buy them all in real life, so I buy them all virtually. And after I watched the Witcher Netflix series, I started playing The Witcher 3, which I feel like, and real quick, I feel like The Witcher 3, for me at least, is a game that I'd rather watch somebody else play than I myself play.
Yeah, it's a game that I've tried multiple times to get into. I've gotten into it recently more, but it was before the show. But like I talked about, I'm stuck. I don't know if it's because I'm too low level or if I just suck at the game, which is I probably just suck at it. But I finished up the main story in GTA 5, finally. I've been working on that for years.
Yeah.
And just recently sat down and powered through about 10 to 12 hours of the story and beat that. Before the year was up, I finished Pokemon Sword. And I played a lot of games last year. And so far, I've re-downloaded Red Dead 2, and I've been playing that. Didn't have too high of an opinion on it, but since I played through GTA, I've kind of more acclimated to the way those games are.
Yeah.
So I'm having fun with that. And been grinding away on the Master Chief Collection, trying to get those armors. Man, I've talked about this in other videos too for the MCC. It's I'm on like the 3rd level because there's 10 ranks that you can go through. It's basically just from like 1 to 100.
Okay.
And I am in the 3rd section. I'm about halfway through that, and they had double XP that ran from like around Christmas up until just recently where it stopped. And even with the double XP, like they have to change the way that you earn or the way that you unlock stuff. I mean, it's just like for a while there, I was like, I'm going to play it every single day. I'm going to hit the max level and unlock everything. And that drive is still there, but it's gone significantly down where I'm like, all right, I'll play like an hour a day, 3 matches or whatever. And I'm at the point now, though, where let's say if you played it for an hour a day or 2 hours a day, you played about 5 or 6 matches that were anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes long. I'm at the point now where I probably have to play that for a week just to finish the middle of the rank that I'm in now to like hit the next thing because you can't pick what you want to unlock, which actually makes the currency at this point kind of invalidated because they should just make it so that when you hit the next rank, it just automatically unlocks the next cosmetic because you can't pick it. So why make you go through that extra step of doing it? It's they're gonna have to change it. My suggestion was to make it how Destiny's was, where everything is the same. Each rank is the same amount of XP. I can't remember how much it was for Destiny with their season pass, but just make it all the same amount of XP, whether it's 50,000 or 100,000. And then, I mean, there's 100 ranks. It's going to take people at least 2 or 3 weeks. There were actually people that are being banned for doing this, but they would put a rubber band on their controller, just go into matchmaking, and just collect whatever it would give you. Because there's people that have, like, all the cosmetics already that I've run into where I'm like, how did you get, like, like, you're either playing this all day, every single day since it's come out, or you cheated. But yeah, and I've just given up on a few games. There's too many live service games with season passes.
There is.
I usually buy Fortnite's season pass when that came out. I skipped that because I'm trying to play Halos, and you know, Call of Duty recently got one where you earn some free stuff with it, but like I don't play Call of Duty enough to be able to do it. I I'll go back to Destiny, but I ended up uninstalling that for the hard drive space. And I mean, I can't sit there and play through that one either.
Yeah.
Like there's too many of them. All the games that I like have incorporated this season pass into it, and they all require all the time.
Which it really sucks because it's money you're paying most of the time. Now, free games like Fortnite, I feel like it's okay to a certain extent. Now we're in technically season 11, so I mean if you bought every season pass or battle pass, it's $110.
Yeah. Well, that and I mean the V-Bucks that they sell, they make a ton of money off of that.
Right. But I mean you're paying $60 for a game, and then you're paying whatever their pass is.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. That's what part of the reason why I like Halo so much is you're not paying for it. It's all free. Okay. All the season stuff that comes to the Master Chief Collection is all free. And the reason why they have the currency is because once they introduce when Halo CE is released for PC, that's when the next season's going to start, and they're going to add stuff for you to unlock that's Halo Combat Evolved themed that you're going to use the season points for. So at some point you're going to be able to choose, do I want to play or do I want to buy the Reach stuff, or do I want to buy Halo Combat Evolved stuff or Halo 2's, And it's just, that's free, so I don't feel the urgency to be in there playing. But if you, like you said, let's say you spent $120 on every single season pass for Fortnite, but you only play halfway through each season and you only unlock half of everything.
Yeah.
It to me, it feels like you'd be wasting money if you spend money, the $10 to buy the season pass, and then don't play through everything and earn it all. In my honest opinion, a lot of the unlockable stuff in Fortnite is kind of garbage.
It has become garbage.
Emblems, emotes, I don't care about any of that.
No.
I like the cosmetic characters. And the one time, yeah, we have a noisy chair in here. And the one time I was playing, they had a $300 or a 300% increase in XP, and I went from 20 to the upper 70s in a matter of 3 or 4 days because you were just getting an insane amount of XP.
Mm-hmm.
And I unlocked a couple of people, a couple skins that otherwise I wouldn't have gotten to, which is cool. But yeah, it's just there's too many season pass games, too much of them. If you spend the money and then don't make your way all the way through it, you're kind of wasting it because I don't think you can go back and get the stuff that you missed. Mm-hmm. And I did that with Destiny's when they released their last expansion with the moon. I can't remember what it's called right now. I got the season pass with buying the expansion, and I made it through at least 75% of the way through it, and then kind of fell off just because work or whatever,
Yeah.
But then it's well, the next one came out, and I didn't bother buying it because it's well, I don't think I'm going to be able to make my way through it. Mm-hmm. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for listening to the first ever episode 1 of the Series X podcast. We're looking to make this a regular upload here on the channel, so let us know what you think about it in the comments section down below. If you guys have stuck through the entire show, thank you. We really do appreciate it. And until next time, everyone, we will see all of you in the next one.